Yeah, I think
somebody hold my ears while I drink some really cold water upside down and hold my breath. And because I have hiccups, cheers, everybody, and welcome to episode 244 of the Michigan Bros Grow Show. I'll be right back.
Boo.
Exactly. Scare you. Yeah. So how many ways can you think of to get rid of your hiccups?
I only use one because I shit you not, it has worked every single time. I was a bus boy. I was fucking, I don't know, 14 years old or something like that. We get hiccups all the time. This older waitress changed my entire life from that point forward, man. I swear. And I mean, everybody was like, did the boo, pop the bag, like whatever. Like, yeah, all these different things, hold your breath was always one, count to 10, all these different ones. But this one, I thought it was just another version of holding your breath, but it was plug your nose and drink a glass of water. But like, you have to drink the whole, not take 3 gulps of water and hope it goes away. Like, drink the whole glass of water. The idea is to take many gulps of like forcing this air bubble down. Every single time I've had the hiccups since, and I don't know,
Should we try the reverse nostril plug like you do on the dogs?
I don't know that one either. But dude, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so if the dog starts doing that, like thing that they do,
I think it's a boxer thing though too.
You think
it's,
no? I don't
a lot
think
of
it
boxers.
is. No, because Amanda and Joey's Frenchie would do it. Lily did it.
Well, a snout.
Maybe it's dogs with short
snouts.
snout. I don't know. But I do it to my dog that doesn't have a short snout. But you're supposed to plug its nostril and let it just keep breathing and doing its little sucky thing, and supposedly it's supposed to help it. I don't know if it works or not. I tried it.
I wonder if Spartan's dogs do it. I bet you Spartan's dogs do it.
Probably.
Yeah, he's got a little puggy nose.
Yeah, he's got puggy nose doggies, like short snouts. Yeah, the short snouts.
All I know is that drink in even still, I don't have to like physically plug my nose anymore. I can just drink a glass of water without breathing through my nose. The idea is like, don't breathe in more air, but push whatever is holding up in your esophagus back down into your gut.
Gotta push it.
And dude, it has worked every single time. I have not suffered from hiccup. Once, twice, and I go straight for a glass of water and I down that fucker without breathing. Like, not like take 3 sips, take a deep breath. I mean, choke on the fucking water. Like, it's kind of tough. Like, you just drink it and don't breathe while you're drinking it. And it just, you can just feel this thing getting pushed down, and you're like, oh, there it is. And then just goes away, and miraculously for Girly, I hope you're
trying that.
Yeah, just getting rid of it. Just a whole gallon. Well, maybe not a whole gallon.
And he said this was his like second night of this happening too, just out of nowhere.
Oh, that's rough. For me, it's Little Caesars pizzas will give me those ones.
Oh, really? Okay.
Maybe the sauce, the pizza sauce or something. Maybe
yeah, man, that should be.
It's like chow pizza too fast.
Some hiccups.
$5 hot and ready. So you got to get it quick.
And beer, of course.
Beer.
Pizza and beer. Cheap pizza, cheap beer.
I got beer right now.
I can get the hiccups while drinking like 1 Miller Lite. In the middle of drinking a single Miller Lite and start hiccuping.
That's actually what I got in here. So,
oh man, yeah, that's a hiccup for me.
Sponsor Miller Lite tonight.
There you go.
No. So Third Eye Craft Affair was tonight. That was very fun during the day. It started at noon today, and we got to meet all kinds of cool people and friends. Schnozberry Farms was there for Goldie.
Oh, I got the new Sharkleberry Fin gummy with nerds on it. Woo, doggy.
Rosemary's Oasis had some plants there.
Hold on, let me show you this plant, and you got to send me the name of this because I can't pronounce it.
Go get it. Oh, some different flavors.
Show off your little jars that you came and showed off for us this week too.
That sold out of. That was awesome.
One of them. I just want to see one of those jars again because actually the Yeti.
Look at this.
It's called nasturtium.
Nasturtium. Okay. Yeah. Don't know how to spell it but it's variegated, and I love variegated plants.
Nasturtium.
Sounds German.
I'm gonna text it. Stop.
No,
I'm going to text it to you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. Because it's so good. I'm so happy to try that. Yeah. She told me to put it in my tomato plants. I got my plants in pots. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant that besides the tomato inside of it.
Yeah, they'll just trail out, which is super
That'd be
cool.
very pretty.
And they're good pest control.
Oh, even better. Okay.
And I think nasturtiums help eliminate root knot nematodes, something like that, and deter many different types of aphids and things like that. It's good overall IPM, beneficial. Of course, it's going to attract pollinators. You know, pollinators are the best IPM. That's my favorite IPM. That's our early IPM. That's our base IPM.
Let me get its seed packet and I'll show you what it looks like.
Oh, I was even pronouncing it wrong. I thought it was with an L. See, I messed it all freaking up.
Like a nasturtium.
Yeah, and that's okay. Gotcha. N. All right. Sweet.
Nasturtium.
Yeah, we had some GMO rosin from Snosberry Farms and some super gremlin.
Super gremlin.
So nice. So nice.
You know, those nasturtiums would make a nice ground cover. They might creep up your plant. I would say they would make a nice little.
I just like these little baby shoots right here. There's like little teeny baby shoots right there. They're so cute. Yeah, I really like
They
this.
grow great. They grow fast too. Super cool to watch them grow from seed because they're like, you know, you see a little codling pop out, and then all of a sudden it's like a little nasturtium plant. You know, with those little plate leaves. They look like little like water lilies, you know, sticking up in the air. It's really cool. And then they flower, big pink flowers, white, yellow, pink.
Shout out Chuck D Nugs. Sorry to miss you today, but that was a sweet shout out you gave us on IG today. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Super excited that you got to pick some of our stuff up and try it. I'm excited to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, we were smoking on it. Oh, if I can even get it through a sentence without hiccuping. I think it was, oh gosh, correct me if I'm wrong, please, Chuck. It was blackberry Kush mints or blueberry Kush mints, maybe blueberry Kush mints. We smoked on that. He rolled up a couple nice fat doings for me the other day, and surprisingly have only gotten through one of them so far. I've been trying to savor them, and
That sounds yummy.
Very, very tasty.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's a red one, and I think it might have like orange and yellow flowers as well.
Cool.
But yeah, it's
Very Fishmans.
you can put the flowers in your soup. It's super medicinal, or the leaves. It's all good for you.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
We would include it in our soups and salads.
I love the feel of it. It just is a super cool way. It feels really neat the way that it grows.
Yeah, I like it. It's a cool one. And like usually the leaves are just solid green, but this variety's got the variegated leaves.
It's cool.
It's pretty. Let's do a dab.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing? A dab of?
Hmm.
Dab. We got so many choices, so
I
many
know.
good stuff
I don't know.
today.
I'm all sold out of the Terra Nation Nut Tree collab, so I don't.
I
even-
love it. That's so cool. Let's see if I can get that to come in there.
We'll definitely have to do that some more.
Oh, come on. There we go. We got some Bubba cookies.
Yeah, that was the one I had to set aside for myself. There was one left. I'm like, you know what? Screw y'all. I'm taking that one myself.
The Cowboy Cherry. That's Cowboy Yeti and Cherry Paloma mix. That's phenomenal. Now the Bubba cookies was Pink Death Bubba and the Chem cookies. And then
That
we
cherry
got-
Paloma flower, you guys shared it with me today. The color on that is unreal. The frost coverage is unreal. The just super smooth flavor.
It
on
is such a nice. It really is. You know this. So this is the second round that we flowered it out, and it's a lot better for me. This round, the first round was very, very troppy, and you all know I don't like that. This round is very Georgia pie, and so I very much enjoy that. Super good. It really. We've been taught. We're definitely going to keep it. We weren't.
Maybe we let it go a few more days longer or something this time. Possibly.
I don't know.
I feel like we were short. Well, first time we kind of.
I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been 6 months ago, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
A handful of people from the Reddit community popped in there today. Some people that were searching around for products, caregivers, events, all kinds of stuff on the Michigans. Michigans.
Again.
Did I say it right the first time? I was correct the first time. The that subreddit. There was just a handful of people that came through and said hello. So if you happen to watch this show, thank you very much for coming through. Thanks for saying hello.
And shout out Caregivers Corner too. That's kind of the other option. It sounds like both Discord and I think Reddit, but shout it out.
Yeah, big time. And the word gets around a lot in those communities. So yeah,
seriously though, yeah, and a lot of honest, excuse me, I'm really trying to get through these hiccups, guys. A lot of honest and like really direct reviews and from people that know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like pretty experienced smokers. It seems like people going out and acquiring some, caregiver medicine, and up for them to be the judge of, and they often are more than happy to share that judgment. And so it's nice to kind of see their feedback on there. Constructive criticism is absolutely always appreciated. And, to kind of hear it from strangers directly, if you will, if that makes sense, it's kind of cool. So, definitely keep sharing your opinions, guys. That helps us, it does in some way guide what we're probably going to produce, to some extent. Like, for example, this grape fun dip, guys. Like, hold on. Let's see if I'm grabbing the right jar here. Nope, that's the garlic punch. So grape fun dip. I'm everyone has been really a fan of the terp profile and the extracts and even the flower. But me personally, I'm not a huge fan of growing the flower. And as you can tell probably from this, it's just like a little like leafy. You know what I mean? Like, see how there's like kind of a lot of like leaf material in there.
That's
and it's
how
not
our
that it's
spaghetti is. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not that it's not frosty. You know what I mean? Like the
frosty
leaves
as
have frost
fuck,
on there.
but-
Yeah, that's why I leave it on there. But like at the same
Freaking
time,
picture it to get through it.
oh
That's
my god, I know. And I actually had two people, two patrons of the event today come by and make that exact comment. It's like, yeah, no, I get it. Like you're either gonna hack it to death trying to trim it up nicely, or you just gotta leave it on there, and that's what it is, But it smells fantastic. It's just, if you compare it to the jar that's right next to it, and you've got this garlic punch that's like way frostier, way denser, way more like uniform kind of nug meat, it's just like that's more of what you'd expect out of like that kind of top shelf flour. If you're smelling it, like both absolutely fire, but looking at it, man, it's just sometimes when you look at this flower, and I've said it for a long time about the Clementine and the Lime Skunk, it's just a different breed, but it's the terp profile. It's like, is it worth saving, even if it's just for extracts? I don't know. We'll see. It is honestly from a grower standpoint, especially really from the trimming or harvesting standpoint, it is the weakest strain in my garden right now because it is the most difficult in terms of that harvest process. And man, it's the exact opposite of garlic punch. I could practically just pluck off fan leaves and shuck it right into a fresh frozen bag.
If we had this conversation like 10 or 15 years ago, it would be the prettiest in the bag, and not that the pretty leafless stuff didn't exist back then, but I think that just like that marble bud that's become like the common bud, I think that's like the conventional bud, that's the commercial bud.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's used to nowadays, because that is the bud of legalization essentially.
Well, I would say it's the bud of it seems like it's the nug meat of medicinal, at least here in Michigan. Like I started noticing real nug meat like that once medical kind of came on board, and those, I don't know if it was the right growers, the right strains, the right access, the right freedom, whatever it was, like it opened it up enough to like, oh wow, this is actually like some valuable stuff. It's not just like this ditch weed that you're getting, when you're 16 and just trying to find a bag or whatever, It's like some real high quality stuff that you would expect from a dispensary, you'd expect from a pharmacy level, like, grower or whatever you want to call it, and yeah, that's kind of like what you're saying. I feel like everyone's kind of come to expect that now, which, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You could absolutely have your preference and however you want it, whatever style bag appeal it might be. But, ultimately for me, it's like I'm just really just trying to find the right terp profile, which is what really provides the right medicine. So
Look at how many chirp profiles are kind of like have been kicked to the curb based on washability or the fact that it doesn't have bag appeal, and really, and like you said, it's around the time the medical came through. But I also, the time medical came through is the time that like chasing ROI and batting off, paying off investors and stuff like that also came through. You know what I mean?
yeah, you had to put a little more value into it from a grower standpoint. What does Ruben have in his mouth? He just walked by like a towel or something.
Yeah,
A dirty
there's
t-shirt and a sock.
a t-shirt and a
Sock.
His
t-shirt. And a sock.
favorite.
Double fisting.
Two items. Yeah, he picks up one. He'll try to pick up at least 3 or 4 items as he's trying to come upstairs. He'll trip over the other one, drop 2 or 3 of them, go back, pick up a couple more, and yeah.
It's funny seeing him with I think it was it one of Smokey's dogs today, who's like a 16-year-old just old man, and
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, cool dude, you young buck, yeah, you go get it, bro. Like, and Ruben's like, yeah, let's go, come on, ooh, yeah.
It's the only time he barks like all day. He just wants to play,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to play with those older dogs, and the
Even
older
right
dogs
now,
don't
he's
want
like,
to do it.
Mom, play with me.
He does that. He barks at my parents' little dog Bailey. She's like 8 years old and doesn't want anything to do with him. She just turns back to him and
She's
ignores
like,
him.
no.
That's funny.
And he just bark, just goes off. But he's like, hey, look at me, pay attention to me. That's
Mhm.
what
He's an attention hoe.
he got to hang out with his cousins last week. All of his Great Dane cousins. One of them's 190 pounds.
That's so crazy.
Punchki.
Oh, I thought it was 160.
Punchki's like 190 pounds. The dog's
His
massive.
name is Punchki.
Yeah. And the other one's name is Kluski.
And he's a little.
Wait, hold on, real quick. Can we talk about this grammatically for a second? Because please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't speak Polish. Is Punchki is the plural form of that like delicious pastry donut, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, Tara says yes.
Yeah.
It's a type.
And
Yeah.
I really hope I'm going to say this right, but the singular form of that is punchek. Is that right?
No, I've never heard it that way, so I don't
Oh
know.
God, please, someone look it up. Someone tell me that's native in the language.
I'm
I
not
always
really
thought
big
Punchki was
Philly kind of donuts, so I'm usually out on those.
I mean, delicious as long as it's raspberry or strawberry. But
I always thought you added an S to Punchki and just had Punchkis.
so I think that's the American way. But like I think that's probably completely acceptable, honestly. But I'm just curious. I guess I want to know if that's.
I'm not Polish. My brother's Polish. I could ask my brother. He might know.
Yeah, send a text.
I don't know.
Phone a friend.
Singular form of okay. Now who can
Like
spell Punchki?
P-A-C-K-Z-I or something.
Yeah, there's a Z in there
Yeah.
and a Y.
I don't think there's a Y, is it?
I thought there was no, maybe I know there's a Z.
P-A-C-K. Oh God, I can't even read this. P-A-C-Z-K-I, and the A's got that little squiggly line on the. I don't know. I know what an umlaut is, but that is not an umlaut.
I was really close.
I was way off. No Y.
I always looked at it forever and I was like, what is that word? Like growing up, I
They're
was
big in Cincinnati.
like, what? What?
Potch. Well, Potch. My brother used to say Potch, and he used to hit my face, and he used to tell me that Potch meant something about covering your face, and I believed him into like my 30s, dude. And he was like, oh, it means like
what my grandson's doing with his
cover
birthday
face,
right
cover.
now. There you go. That's it.
But I wonder
So the word
if he was just saying the singular form of Punchki and hitting me in the face.
it might have been. Maybe we need to look up the definition of that. The word
Punchki.
Punchki refers to multiple delicious jelly-filled gut bombs. It's pronounced punchki. Punchki are delicious. Let's see. Hold on to your love handles. Singular form of the word is Paczek. That's pronounced Punchek. I only ate one Punchek, but now I need to lie down. All right. Well, I guess we learned something today. Need to lie down. I had 2 donuts this morning on the way to the event. I'm not gonna lie.
I just was watching something with donuts, and I was like, I want a donut, man. That sounds so yummy.
You gotta always have them on hand. That's how we roll over here.
I would
It's-
like boxes of like donut holes, glazed donut holes, and those were just my favorite. I could eat a whole box of that.
You guys just helped me trace back the origins of a childhood prank.
It's clicking. It's still clicking. Hold on. All right, let's do a therapy session.
Reliving this in my head, and I'm like, this whole time my brother was smashing an imaginary donut in my face. What the fuck?
Mario's calling you a little donut.
Yeah.
Were you a little donut?
Yeah. There's okay. So I already forgot how to spell it, but the individual singular form of that, we need to look up the definition of Punchek.
I get it.
Then we have AI do it for us. Look it up.
Yeah, probably. I'm not that good with AI though. I'm not gonna lie. Although that software was working today. Definition. Maybe put that in front of it or after it.
Isn't
It's
this
just telling me it's filled donuts.
Wow, what's that?
That's an ashtray? No
Yeah.
way.
the center?
Got a lid?
Like a
Oh,
it's like a smokeless ashtray.
It's
Nice.
badass.
that's cool.
Yeah.
My dad got it in the Bahamas for us, or
Nice.
Jamaica. Might have been Jamaica. Here you go.
Island in the Atlantic, south of Florida, east of South America.
Try the joint again.
Let me smoke this.
The singular form of punchek means packages in English. So I don't know. We're not getting anywhere with this. You're a small package, right? I know.
You are a little guy.
Mom, is that what it was?
Or just a package who's respecting your packages. I don't know, man. I don't know.
The full package.
Yeah. I was gonna say shout out Daddy Red in chat. There's Daddy Red.
There it is.
He
He said he believes that was the intent. Smashing a donut in your face.
like maybe that's what he was responding to. I don't know.
Were you a little squirt brother who like wouldn't leave him alone?
Where did he learn this from, Daddy Red? It was either you or one of his friends. So, you know,
That's not the Polish one. Mom is the Polish one.
fair enough. Well, maybe Daddy Red was, you know, teaching, you know, him the
Yeah,
Polish things he wasn't supposed to.
Maybe Polish things he learns from work. Right? Is that what it is? You learn like cultural stuff at work, and then you bring it.
Uh-huh.
Yep. That's what it is. It's the old. What do they say that weed is? It's a gate.
Gateway drug.
Gateway. Yeah. Yep.
Punchkis are the gateway drugs to Polish jokes,
Gateway joke.
Polish pranks.
Gateway.
So, what's better though, a kielbasa, a bratwurst, a hot dog, or like an Italian sausage?
A beef hot dog or a pork hot dog? Or
Obviously, beef. Pork
Is it
don't
a
even
Kugel?
count.
Is it a Kugel? I mean, geez, Louise.
Hot dog.
I'm going with Hebrew National, honestly.
Ugh.
all
I
beef.
don't
All
All beef.
beef, man. Yeah, I'm all beef.
like that.
all
Kill
beef.
Yeah, you don't like them.
Mm-mm.
You want
And I
that
don't like
pork
fries.
ass in there, though. That's okay.
I like a hot
Ball beef.
stand.
I like the Kugels. I like that snap on it.
All beef
They do
kielbasa
have that.
with a
I
bottom
do like kielbasa though.
with the good pork.
Pasta and mashed potatoes and green beans. We're already talking about food.
Shit, you're right. We're not even.
It had been the whole show. I mean, I think we started out with the show.
You might be right. You might be right.
Oh well.
Oh, well.
Let's see. Dirty's talking about red strawberry. Becca had a handful of strawberries this morning.
From the garden.
Right out of the
Mhm.
garden.
They're huge too. Other ones we have are like these little tiny guys, and these new plants, like first year berries, second year berries, they're doing awesome. They're like thick.
Huge. They're like a foot tall. They're big, tall plants. The berries are booming.
How many like berries per square foot are you gonna get from a plant like that? You know,
The issue is the birds. Honestly,
dozen.
I get that.
A dozen or two per square foot right now.
Okay,
A lot.
nice.
And
Is that like a multiple crop kind of thing, or is that like once and done kind of 12 per square foot?
no, if you keep picking them, they'll keep popping. So it's kind of a thing like that.
Kind of like peppers, like if you keep plucking the flowers or whatever, it just kind of keeps expanding, if you will.
Yeah.
the everbearing.
With the everbearing,
It's a
they
certain
will.
type.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them are June bearing, which
Mhm.
half of the garden is June bearing, and the other half is supposed to be everbearing.
They're all supposed to be everbearing. I've only ever bought everbearing.
Yeah, well,
For some reason, they all only come once in the year. They never keep coming. Maybe it's because I stopped picking them. I don't know. Maybe I'm allowing the flowers to grow too early. You're supposed to actually pick everbearing flowers and not let them grow until the middle of the summer. So like it could be a
bigger
lot of
harvest.
things, and I think just for a later.
seems like a manual ever-bearing process then, you know what I mean? Like I would just expect something that's going to produce fruit all season long to just do that,
Yeah, well, that's not. That's not really how nature's helping itself. We gotta work for what we want sometimes.
Dude, speaking of that, I had this conversation like 3 times today. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the Shark Mouse Farms Variables podcast this past Friday, but one of the things he brought up was how nature is really, really bad at, doing things basically. And it's true. And compared to, how the humans are capable of manipulating nature and, rational and logical thinking and intuitive thought and being able to, follow the scientific process through an inquisitive eye to kind of figure things out, right? And like do better than nature, right? Like we've been able to do that for a long time. But I don't know that nature's necessarily like doing things poorly. And I also, I wonder, like we've kind of been evolving this plant, indoors for a few decades now for sure, but this plant has evolved outside for longer than a human can really perceive. So is it doing things poorly? Is it doing things that differently or that poorly that the notice or the difference is that noticeable indoors? Or is it just kind of one of those trade-offs where it's like, yeah, well, it's going to just be that much more expensive. Like there's reasons we can do it better, but it's, takes resources. And where do those resources come from? Well, nature, but that's besides the point. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of an interesting perspective on things, on how nature does things poorly, if you will.
Nature has
ebbs and flows.
Well, nature is chaos, and so
anarchy, and
allowing nature to go, you get the balance, but with the balance comes, a survival, but you get like, a torn wings. You know what I mean? Like you get beat up along the way. So it's like
finish that survival. It's survival of the fittest, right? Like
fittest, yes, but it's survival. It's just survival because
that's fair.
Because not always the fittest one.
You don't have to be successful. You just have to survive.
in the sense of nature, I mean, ultimately that's what everything's goal is: reproduction and survival until your senescence, and that's everything, all life. And
I think there's just so many variables. Like it's like any number of things, way more than an indoor space, will happen outside because there's
for sure
There's
and that's what I mean about chaos.
everything.
You're gonna have your seasonality. Right now, our solar cycle is at the top end of a solar maximum.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy weather, and we have had crazy weather for the last couple of years, and we're gonna have crazy weather for the next couple of years until we get out of this. And if other sciences leading in the right direction, it might just maintain and stay worse. You know what I mean? So who knows where things are right now? But what it is anything happen. You could have a dust storm, you could have hail, you could have rain every single day. You could
A
have
lot of tornadoes lately.
Now here's the thing. We can, in an indoor environment, we can control almost every variable. There's almost every variable, including we can prevent the hail, right? With a solid roof. We can prevent the wind. We can prevent the rain. We can prevent the floods. We can prevent the droughts because we can go in there and manually water. We can also manually water outside. So like there are some variables that you can kick around in the outdoor environment that you can control, right? You can control like drought. You can control intensity of the sun. You can get shade cloth and you can cover. You don't have to be necessarily indoors. You don't have to put in a huge structure. You can simply shade cloth, allow sunlight to penetrate, but still get 10, 20, 30, 40%, shade. But and quite the opposite also. We can illuminate outside by throwing up additional lighting. You know what I mean? Like there's lots of things. But I think that ultimately as far as quality goes, I think that quality is so subjective. I think that you can quantify numbers, right? You can quantify the amount of THC, you can quantify the amount of terpenes. And I think that it's going to be like a back and forth battle between indoor and outdoor. You're going to see similar results. Maybe not necessarily the exact same phenotype indoor and outdoor. Some you might, right? But like if you can dial in that indoor to match that outdoor, you're going to get those results. If you do enough experiments, you're going to get an indoor that match an outdoor on the same varietal. But ultimately, you're going to get a lot of differences because, well, really the outdoor environment is the one that's so chaotic. And you're going to get every season you can grow the same phenotype. You're going to get a different varietal every year because you're going to have different seasonalities. Solar storms. And the one thing, I always do think about this when we do grow indoors because we can control our environment up to only what we can measure. And that's very similarly to when we talk about like COAs and talk about like objective quality aspects based on a COA. You know what I mean? If you just show me that had these cannabinoids in it, we're talking about a plant that's still under being researched and we still haven't discovered all the cannabinoids. We still haven't discovered all of the metabolites or, I don't even know the names of all of these different words, but dude, there's a lot of different crazy compounds in the cannabis plant that I never see on a COA. So my thought is that, like you said, you got to see that weed, and sometimes that swaggy weed is really good weed medicinally. So is it bag appeal? Where's the objective quality? The eye of the beholder. You know what I mean?
Right. It really almost comes down to like an art, right? It's so crazy that it really can be that, subjective, but it is. And one of the words I use in regards to outdoors and kind of the evolution of things and just all that, I thought it, what's the word we used? Evolution's a word for it, but survival is the word you use. The word I kept using was competition, because it's like everything's just competing. It's competing for genetics survival. It's competing for survival on its own. It's competing for the next meal. It's competing for, whatever it is. It just seems to be all competition. But it's competition for survival, I guess, And then another comment I wanted to make about what you're talking about, Red, is one of the things Pedro talks about is Like, where's that line between indoor and outdoor, really? Because like, is a hoop house still outdoor? Is a greenhouse, like maybe an environmentally controlled greenhouse, considered outdoor? Is a heated floor, light depth, dehumidified, fully environmentally controlled with supplemental lighting greenhouse still outdoor? I think at that point maybe you're just getting free light, but not even really free because you got supplemental, like I mentioned. But I think there's, where does the line cross from indoor to outdoor? And then
I think the line should really be crossed indoor sun grown.
Okay.
Because like Ty says, the sun is the difference, and I agree, and also the ability to control environment. But you can do that with sun grown. You can have a controlled greenhouse environment and see the sun, which in a lot of ways is kind of like the ultimate grow, right? But at the same time, like, we hear this in many ways, and nature shows us this in many ways, is that, adversity builds diversity. You know what I mean? And
I like that.
And you almost need, I guess, if you want a monocrop indoor and you're farming a very specific line forever, that's what you do. In a lot of ways, I think that equates to more like, I don't know how to say the word capitalism without sounding, political, but that's not where I'm going with this. But like, that is like ultimately like, how do you put something into the books, right? How do you make the numbers so that, like, if someone's trying to maximize profit and they use a very specific thing, like that, to me is the game of capitalism. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know any other matrix to kind of put that under. So like,
here I got a quick definition for you, and I love that I still know this like 15 years later. The definition of marketing is satisfying customers' wants and needs through the exchange process at a profit. So think about that. You're satisfying the wants and the needs of your customers through some sort of exchange process. It could be sales, it could be bartering, right? It could be whatever that exchange process is, but at a profit, right? So you're making money. That's the capitalism aspect, right? But you're still satisfying someone's needs. It's like, it's kind of a beautiful depiction of what business is, but still falls into this like capitalistic.
The way that I'm trying to put it is that you would, the way to scale something so that you are taking every, just the way that basic, like watching business go from, manual labor to robotic labor, right? It's the way of scaling so that you are able to maximize profit.
McDonald's, for example, right? They got the, what do they call them? The kiosks or whatever now versus having people standing at the counters.
Yeah. And so what you have is now you have, like, I don't know, like this goes into all kinds of crazy places, because you have like this whole, all these different philosophies, because today is so much different than it was 10 years ago, different than it was 20 years ago, different than what it was 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. And we're still on systems from 70 years ago. And a lot of people alive today are still adapted to those systems from 70 years ago. And people today are going, a lot of these turnkey jobs that were required manual labor can be done with rope. And they because that they have, like, basically we're at the point today to where people are scanning out self-checkout items, where when they were infants in a stroller, their parents were scanning out self-checkout items. So that's literally all that they know. And that's all that they understand is self-checkout. So they don't understand why somebody would want to defend a human cashier, right? They don't understand that, but I'm one to defend the human cashier, right? And I understand that there's somebody else that just isn't even in part of that reality. And that's what we have right now. And you call it like generational divides, right? And it is a generational divide, but that's ultimately that's what we're seeing is like, people who grew up with computers and like it's just a completely different thing with the internet. Growing up with I grew up before the internet, you know what I mean? A lot of us did. and nowadays we're switching over to like ordering a lot of our things online in the sense of convenience, you know what I mean? And when you say needs and wants, I feel like in the last 50 years we've kind of been force-fed needs and wants. Like, we don't know what we need. The commercials, the marketing tells us kind of what we need, and what it kind of creates what we want in that sort of sense. It says this is what you need, and then we go, oh, I want that. So like it's like, is it uninformed marketing or is it informed marketing? Are you an informed purchaser or an uninformed purchaser?
Oh, definitely uninformed. Think about how much we talk about terpenes and how important they are and how we have to educate the entire fucking society about them. And it's just such an uphill battle. Like,
cannabis industry is, the best example of watching like how much like distillate being passed off as like a premium product. I mean, literally will say premium on the premium distillate. Like that is an oxymoron, right? Premium distillate. It's oxymoron phrase, in my opinion.
And you have hand trimmed and machine trimmed.
But that's
you go to that. You can
premium could just be in, purely pure. Maybe it's pure, but premium to me
doesn't mean anything if it's just on a fucking label. That's the unfortunate thing.
Exactly. It's marketing. So like, we're marketed bullshit in a lot of senses. So,
but am I satisfying your wants and needs to the exchange process at a profit? Right?
You are. But the thing is like with cannabis right now, and with a lot of stuff. Food, like you can get cannabis and food, like is the biggest example because like heirloom genetics with cannabis, like there's so much stuff you can't get at the dispensary in a legal state. There's stuff you can't get in a grocery store, heirloom wise. Like, so this stuff is like very parallel to each other. You know what I mean? The food industry, the product lineage, the medicine, the makeup, all of it. Everything that we get in the grocery store, you can get better from somebody who makes it themselves, just like cannabis. And that is everything. Crafters will always do something better. And you might think that you're getting a better deal by buying it at a store at a cheaper price, but it's going to fall apart or it's going to damage you because it's made of some toxic material or some shit like that, where somebody else who believes that they don't want to put that toxic material is probably sourcing better materials, and you can vet them, you can talk to them, you can actually have a conversation with them. Whereas if you try to even get a hold of somebody who's a manufacturer of a t-shirt or something like that, the best you can get is probably the service counter at a store, and you're not going to get much further than that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I might be way off track on where we were going with this conversation, but I wasn't trying to get into like the depths of capitalism, so to speak. I really just wanted to outline like the way that you can kind of turn something that has intelligence. All of this stuff, really, the food, all these heirloom crops, all this stuff has an intelligence to it, a sentience, and we turn it into a commodity by forcing a need onto people through that marketing. And so that is like, and again, it's uninformed. It's
that would be a side of unethical marketing, I think.
And a lot of times it's predatory marketing, predatory, like even
plenty of it. I'm not for that shit. You know what I mean? Like
propaganda, like they've been telling us that cannabis is bad for us all of this time. You know what I mean? Like, how terrible of a thing is that they've been telling us for the last 180 years, you know what I mean? And
yep.
We fought tooth and nail from the AMA to keep it on the American Pharmacopoeia, and they took it away. And I don't know, whenever it was in the 30s Tax Act, and in the 40s they took it off. The 1942 they took it off the American Pharmacopoeia. And then, you know, and so it's so people are like, You don't see medical alcohol. And then a lot of people argue, well, there was medical alcohol or there was medical whatever back then. But like the thing is like cannabis was actually prior to the 1940s in the American Medical Association, like in the handbook. It was part of our pharmacopoeia. That's why we have medical cannabis. We don't just have a reason for people to get high, calling it medical. Like we have doctors that have said cannabis is medicine. It was part of our pharmacopoeia. We need cannabis as a medicine. And that's why the cannabis medicine revolution has been going. It's not something that is new to the 90s. It's not something new to the 2000s. This has been going on since the 1940s, since they took it away from the AMA. So, you know, medical cannabis is a very real thing. And so what you have today is they're trying to like monocrop and only source single strains and really turn it into pure THC and pure that specific alkaloid.
That's a commodity, right? That's what they're trying to do, is turn it into a commodity.
That COA, off of the numbers, what you can objectively see, this is where we got into the weeds because we were talking about objective and subjective, right? And in anything that's grown properly, anything that is, you know, it within the
that right there is subjective though, Red. Properly, you know what I mean?
It doesn't even have to be, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be proper. And there's a spectrum of proper, you know what I mean? And
that's subjective, you know?
You can do it your way, I can do it my way.
Right.
Tara and Sean can do it their way. We can all do it our own way. And we can all basically take different routes and get to almost a damn identical, you know, location where you might like be able to throw a football to each other. You know what I mean? But we're going to like be in the same area. You know what I mean? Now, there's an offlier and he's off fucking cliff down the mountain. He tripped, fell, rolled, you know, whoosh into the river and floated out to the fucking river. Yeah, dude, that exists. You know what I mean? I don't know. Apparently I got in the boat. So,
well, hey, I found out recently that I know someone that could throw a football to you guys. You know what I mean? Not to get too deep in those weeds either, but like it is a very small world and you can do a lot of different things a lot of different ways. And like you said, still come up with a pretty damn great product at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And ultimately there is an objective truth, of course, but
there is, like you said, you can get that real close to that right way if you are trying to streamline for a specific variable, right? If you're trying to narrow in one and what you see with monocropping and what you see with because the reason that I just say topping out investment is because a lot of times the difference that I see between a incorporated business entity and like an artisan business entity is an incorporated business is usually trying to please shareholders, and the shareholders usually don't give a shit about, a lot of times don't give a shit about the ethics. They're just
public companies. I mean, that's the end right there.
Want their money they want their numbers to go up so they can trade their shit. So a lot of these smaller and artisan craft companies, like they will cater towards the needs and the necessities and the wants of people, assuming that they can educate themselves enough to actually want them. But usually what you end up getting is the smaller companies educate the at least somewhat of the market base. And like you do see in cosmetics, and you do see so far it is slowly growing in the food movement. Right, a little bit.
Yes, Red. I got a couple examples for you. I went to the farmers market the other day, and I was there to pick up a big fat pork shoulder to cook tomorrow. For some Memorial Day festivities, and of course, I got sucked into very variety of other vendors there at the farmers market. Nice. The first of which was bagels. I just looked over. I'm like, oh fuck, those look good. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take a half dozen, please. Give me like, yeah. And she proceeded to explain to me how they were made fresh that morning. There's no preservatives. If you're not gonna eat them by tomorrow, throw them in the freezer to make sure they're. I'm like, that's what I'm looking for. Now you're satisfying my wants and needs, and I don't give a shit how much this costs because I know it's going to be better. I mean, I do, but I know it's going to be better than what I'm going to get at the grocery store, right? That's probably been sitting on the shelf for at least a week or two already, and everything that goes along with that. Next stop, I'm like, all right, I really just came for some burgers, so I'm gonna get some burgers too, get some frozen burgers. I know these are like ground up at my local butcher shop, it's local meat. I actually don't know if it's local vegetables, but I would have to assume so, considering everything else they're doing. So I got some delicious cheddar jalapeno bacon burgers, right? And then on the way out, I got stopped by someone else. And he actually reminded me a lot of you, Rod. He was had a nice ponytail. He was more of a blonder dude, but he had a nice long ponytail. And he's like, "How you doing?" I turned, I looked, I'm like, "Doing well," He goes, "You ever tried microgreens?" I'm like, "Actually, I have."
Oh, yeah.
And he had just a big display of, more than probably a dozen different microgreens, all the trays set up.
Yeah.
And I go, "Hey man, listen, I don't need any today, but I really appreciate what you're doing, and just keep at it, because that's gonna satisfy customers' wants and needs, and it's a smaller niche market, but it is expanding,
It expands, and what it does is you don't need the entire market share. You just need to share the market. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My philosophy is I don't need market share. I just want to share the market.
I just want like 1%, man. Just give me 1% of the overall market. That's like 20% of the top 5. That's pretty good.
Honestly, with being a farmer, like you have all of these different enterprises. You know what I mean? It's like if you're going to start seeds, you might as well if you have an excess of plants, you might as well, either give away, use it for some sort of capital gain. You know what I mean?
Capitalize, yeah.
And I don't necessarily even mean capitalization is in the form of
monetarily.
Exactly. But all kinds there's so many different kinds of capital. In permaculture, there's, at least 8 different ways of capital, and we do it all the time where we trade eggs for dabs, and we trade weed for dabs, or we trade, just dabs for dabs, whatever, dude. You know what I mean?
I had never bartered with people before until this community.
Isn't that great, Tara?
It is phenomenal.
It's the perfect place to do it.
It honestly is phenomenal, because I've tried to incorporate it in other ways in my life throughout everywhere. I try to do this like with everybody now, because why shouldn't we? Have something that you want, and you might have something I want.
Listen, maybe it's a generational thing, but my grandfather used to. He would go into Best Buy and try to barter with batteries, and it's like, okay, dude, chill. But you know what I mean? Like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
A large portion of my wardrobe is bartered, and
I appreciate it. It's really nice, and especially now, because forever, I didn't actually have anything I could barter with. It was a very, very long time that we were without any flour to share with everybody, and everybody was so gracious and has always shared with us. And I'm so happy to be able to give back to people and share some of our flour and stuff. So I'm very happy to be able to share.
You have those sentiments, right? And that means that somebody else out there also has those sentiments, which means another person out there has those sentiments.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean everybody has those sentiments.
So,
but there's enough people, and there's enough people locally willing to, the hardest part is getting out there and getting seen and putting forth, some sort of, way for all of us to be able to socialize. So that's why communal places, markets, co-ops, potlucks, community, whatever gatherings, all these things are just so important, because you get to learn what other people do. And once you talk to some other people, it's been a wild like half decade where a lot of people really don't like to talk to each other anymore. But it's amazing when you start talking to people, like people are interesting. You know what I mean? They got stuff. They're into stuff, like a lot of people are pretty dry and boring, but you know what? A lot of people really got stuff going on, and you might really find somebody that you're able to bump elbows with and trade each other's time and or resources and make some gains in your
And maybe it takes a joint or a doobie to loosen up to be able to talk to them. So you go out to a safe space to go smoke a doobie and have a conversation with some friends, and you loosen up and be able to talk about anything. You can, at a whim, just whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Bring up and comfortable and relaxing spot to.
I never have trouble talking to anybody, so I always have something that I can always.
Some people
find
maybe
something to
they,
talk about,
some
but
people might, and some people don't.
for some though, this is a nice outlet for them, and it gives them a nice opening to try to get out there.
So definitely look forward to more spaces like that in the
Yeah.
future. Hopefully we can advocate for that and have people start their own, like Third Eye does, and like all the other
It really
people
is.
out there
It's
that
such a nice. Honestly, it's one of the best, easy, comfortable events that I've gone to, and I've been to a lot, and I definitely pick and choose which ones I go to nowadays.
Gems and Genetics coming right up in a couple
Yes,
weeks. We're
definitely.
excited
I'm
for that
so
one.
excited
Talk about that
Gems
maybe
and
the
Genetics,
last few
and,
minutes here if we I don't know.
But yeah, I'm super excited. Definitely love the Third Eye Craft Affair.
Yeah.
And I like that we've been traveling around going different places too. It's nice to see different parts of the state. So
Especially when the weather cooperates too with
Yeah,
it and
yeah.
everything holds off. Today we had a little bit of a scare of a storm rolling in, but it held off just in time, I think, and everybody had a good time out there. It was perfect.
A lot of people packed up early. It was
It was still
that kind of day, but it was beautiful weather all morning and afternoon, which was really
Yeah.
nice. The one in Gems and Genetics, June 7th, 8th, and 9th.
7th, 8th, and 9th, yeah.
Now the thing about I think it's really vending 7th and 8th. I think that 9th is like a pack up and go home day, right?
Oh, okay.
It always says that 9th day, and I don't know if that confuses anybody else. It doesn't necessarily confuse me because I understand that that's our go home day. But if it does, if it's confusing, maybe I'll mention something to the promoter. But otherwise, those are the dates. It's a camping weekend festival, and it's at Sarnes Resort in Morley, Michigan. I'll bust out the Michigan map. This is the old thumb of Michigan. It's over on the west coast of Michigan over there, up north, just north of Grand Rapids area. It's kind of between Grand Rapids and the coast. It's up in the woods, up by where the old Rothbury area, that whole area is at. Yeah, that's going to be fun. We're going to be up there for 3 days because we go up there like a day in advance, set up and get stuff set up. But Rosemary's Oasis is going to have a tent. So we're going to bring a tent for Rosemary's Oasis, which will be our head shop, essentially. So we can have a spot for all of our glass. We can have a spot for plants, non-cannabis and or cannabis crafted. You know what I mean? There's stuff that we utilize our cannabis plant for that is not consumable. So use it many, many, many different ways. Try to use every single part of the plant in as many ways as we can, as we do with many, many things. It helps lower our costs. It helps gain enterprises, and you have all these additional little enterprises, you know what I mean? And each one of those little enterprises, you can have different little fractions of the market share. You don't need the whole thing, you know. You have many little enterprises. It's I don't know. It's I guess that what old gypsy, the old gypsy life, right? Show up, market, pop open your tent of all your random wherewithals and goods. And
What my son says about me all the time, that I'm a gypsy.
I like it. I have fun. We just dropped a load on a whole bunch of more tapestries.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we actually found a source that's from India. So
Wow,
now in India tapestries, and they're all incredibly similar to the ones that we've been carrying. So it's probably where the source that we've had them from has been getting theirs, but they're, at least a little bit more of a direct source, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, super cool.
The company is semi-local. They're out of Chicago, so regionally local, and then they're the main distribution out of, their main company from India. So it's pretty cool. So
Yeah, that'll be exciting to see those. I bet they'll have some beautiful colors. Oh,
yeah, imagine mostly I think they're all cotton, right? Are all of them cotton? Yeah,
okay.
all 100% because we ended up getting a few polyesters on that last batch.
Hmm.
But yeah, Rosemary's Oasis going to have all those little festival goodies.
Yeah, anybody need any kittens? We've got 6 to go. Let's go.
Kittens to go. There you go.
Hit
See,
me up in the DMs, please. We got 6 kittens to go.
Please have them spayed or neutered.
Isn't that the Bob Barker thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Have them
okay, or your kitties.
They're super cute. They're fun, but we've got 8 cats in this house right now, and
Really?
some need to go. Plus 2 big dogs.
Well, shoot, man, I'd love to take one, but we got Ruben. Well, Ruben's getting pretty good around animals. So, maybe,
So here's the thing. So we've had the cats around the dogs and that, so they're already kind of they're used to the dogs, obviously. But it just cats take a little bit of time, but the one thing I like about cats is they're so good about potty training. You show them the litter box, and there they go.
yeah,
All of these are already using the litter box.
yeah, we're hoping to. We're hoping to one of these days in the not so too distant future have ourselves a little barn to put a cat in. So either a barn or an old crickety basement.
Yeah, there you go. They're good for animal control.
Not that the cat would serve its entire life in the old crickety basement, but it would have access to the old.
Gotcha. Yeah, these little guys are fun, but they're a lot of work too.
I can't imagine, man. That's your best IPM right there. Ruben grabbed the mouse right out of the field on our way up. We were walking him up to the. He had something
Awesome.
It was a mouse. Swallowed it whole.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. He was fucking around with that mouse. He's like, no, mice don't. Nope, no mice. Sorry.
Good job, Ruben.
I'm
Yeah.
telling.
These cats need to go though. We're ready to get them out of here.
All right, you guys heard that. 1-800 Nut Tree 420. 1-800 Terra Nation. Call them to get those cats gone.
Dial us up.
Dial us up. Free to a good home.
Probably even deliver them for you.
Yeah, I don't want to. But I don't want to give them away to people that are going to feed them to their snakes. So
Yeah, no, you can't do
don't
free.
hit me up if you got snakes and are going to use them for dinner.
No. There's a big old no about doing things for free, and that's the reason is
I
that people do bad things.
recently just saw on IG that
I saw the
somebody
same thing.
was feeding a bunny to a snake. And don't get me wrong, I understand that they need to eat too, but I don't want my kitties going anywhere like that. So
Snakes need to eat too.
I do know that, but not my kitties.
No, this is funny. It's I mean, yeah, it's frozen mice and stuff aren't that cheap.
No, but there's a big business for that.
That's crazy too, because Madame Euphoria had a I don't want to spill beans. So let's just no, I don't want to talk about that. Never mind. I want to talk about somebody else's poor aminals. So never mind. Well, okay. Well, her poor kid, like she thinks they ate a mouse, and that may have been poisoned. So something happened to the cat. The cat got sick. So I'll just leave it there. And so like, having like poison and stuff out for any animals to get into. It's better to have a cat.
Even putting down like weed control or pest control around the house, you got to be mindful of your pets and stuff while putting that down.
Maybe that's where I was getting at, was because like you don't necessarily know.
And dry ice. Let's have a warning for dry ice. Don't throw dry ice out where any animals can get to it at all. That is not good.
Animals dry
dispose of it, but don't just throw it out in the yard like you do your cooler full of ice.
That whole yeah, but yeah, man, get animals getting into pesticides or what's the other one? The coolant.
Antifreeze.
Antifreeze,
Yeah.
yeah.
Antifreeze.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all we drive.
Sweet taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we put our kitty on a catio. Get a nice little catio. Shout out to Sequence. I think he.
Oh my gosh, is that not so cool what they did for all of the cats?
Yeah. They built a really cool catio.
That is really cool.
On their Instagram, and so we definitely do something like that. You know, if we were in a subdivision, for sure. You know, I think I'm on board with like the cats getting out and disrupting the local bird population. You know, if there's enough cats in a sub, like we have 1,000 homes in our subdivision. You know, I mean,
Especially the blackbirds.
dude, you know, there's some of the birds I wouldn't mind if the cats got out and cleaned up some population on. To be honest, they've been like they disrupted our robin migration really bad this year. We've had robins in our yard for a decade, and in the same spot too. And these little like finches came in and disrupted that one.
Really?
Yeah, but again, you know, you don't want to go out and lay poison or nothing down for any of that stuff.
No.
I know that it's a popular time of year for spraying for bees.
Can you explain the robin situation? Because
Are yours
sorry, go ahead.
Are yours disappearing too?
Well, bro, dude,
Or the little finches move into their place?
they didn't move in, but man, something got to them, and they're trying to re-nest right now. Like I think they're laying like a second, like a set of eggs, which I've seen before, especially when they're like, you know, their young get taken out early on before they have the chance to raise them. But yeah, dude, one day I walked out and you know, right below the nest, which is on one of my lights, was just a hairless dead robin below it, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, and I look up and the mother, I assume robin, is not there, and it didn't show up for several days after that. And I was like, oh man, something got to the nest. I didn't see or know what happened, but it's interesting that you say that.
Our robins just didn't show up this year. It was basically a different type of bird showed up
Okay,
in
interesting.
this spot. And it was weird because the robins have showed up in this spot every year since I've lived in this house. And this year it was something different. And the robins just are not as like, I mean, it was like a herd of chickens out there in our yard in the morning, you know, and it was all robins, which is about half the size of a chicken, dude. You know what I mean? Those fuckers are big birds. They're out just pecking away, you know, cleaning up. I mean, birds are really such a good IPM. You know, aside from eating our strawberries and shit. And shout out, Dave. He mentioned that we have a couple cages for our strawberry. Now's the time to put the cages on, actually, because they're starting to grow. And but yeah, I mean, we had the robins in there just doing their thing, and you know, because of the bees are everywhere and they fly so far. You know, we just I haven't done any sprays, and then since Becca's lived here, you know, we haven't done anything, like not even sprayed any plants or any of that kind of stuff, just because of that accidental. Some other species gets into it and migrates the poison somewhere else, you know, just for that reason, is just for whatever. We're in a small subdivision, you know what I mean, and just being mindful of that. Having land or acreage and wanting to like experiment with things, or you know, directly using like a glyphosate, you know, appropriately or something like that is a totally different story than, you know, I'm watching these videos of people like bleach spraying fences and like half their spray is going over the fence into their neighbor's yard. I would be irate if somebody bleached my fucking garden. You know what I mean? Like, and again, like, I don't know where these videos are coming. For all I know, there's nothing behind these people's homes, but usually they kind of look like there's houses next door. So I don't know. It's, you know, being mindful about what you're using chemicals on and where is super important to just I don't know, man. Like
Everything and everyone, man. It's like you can't really put a quantification to it, honestly.
It's really difficult because like everyone's like, oh, the soil will always be here. So it's
yeah, but it's that shit, you know what I mean? Like, it's perpetual. I don't know. Did people never like take the science class that taught you about half-lives? Like,
Yeah,
that
Half-Life.
was high school, man.
Well, what they didn't teach us is all the new information now about actual like microorganisms. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Because we didn't learn about all of the good bacteria that like really is what digests our food. You know what I mean? Like we learned that our stomach digests our food, but we learned that stomach acid digests our food. We didn't learn that bacteria digest it, and that's like new information that kids will be learning, actually, fortunately, and they're learning that bacteria digest your food, and so they're learning that certain foods don't eat that. And like Becca's brother's like super into it. Like he learns from all kinds of other sources, school included, that like like there's foods that like will harm, like basically don't give you nutrition. They're just food substitutes. You know what I mean? And like with Becca's having a food restriction, a hella food restriction with her and I, both of us. And, you kind of grew up around it, but still, just like you're kind of in that age of everybody kind of got sick from food, literally, not sick of food. Food sucks, but like sick from food. Like a lot of people are sick from food, or it is a chain, a link in the chain of why they're sick. You know what I mean?
Right. It's still ultimately usually ends up being the food, though. You know what I mean?
I have some
people
weird
don't realize how much their gut biome affects everything.
Gut biome.
It's weird.
Sorry, Tara, what was that?
That's weird. All of a sudden, I can't eat cheese. No cheese at all. And like, even it's starting like, I've never been like a big milk drinker or anything, but like I would have cream in my coffee and not be bothered by that. And now I'm even getting a little weirded out by that. And
Getting
it's
a little gassy over there, or
no, nothing like that. It's not
dry. Tell us.
I just asked her a little bit ago if she farted, actually, because it was the dog. The dog did it.
I believe that, actually. Yeah,
Totally
those fucking dogs.
No, mine is a taste thing. It's not anything. It's not upsetting my stomach. Nothing like that.
How long has this been going on?
So when I had
COVID.
The last bout of
there
COVID.
You go. That's what I was gonna ask, honestly.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, it was the last bout of COVID, but it's really so weird because I never would have expected cheese. I love cheese. I mean, I lived on cheese, and now I can't even smell it.
But that is I think a kind of common, I don't know, symptom or
that's what not your
whatever.
grandma was telling me too. She kind of has a similar thing after she had COVID too, that she got. So what are you doing? Sounds like the dogs are raising hell in there with the cats.
I'm gonna share something from today. I hope this
Troy just relieve lactose intolerance.
I really don't think I don't know. It's just so weird. I don't know.
Oh, Tara, yours is not lactose intolerance. If yours is a flavor thing, since
yeah, I do not think it's that at all. I mean, I don't
relieve himself of his lactose intolerance. I mean, Nut Tree go relieve himself of his lactose intolerance.
Yeah, he was trying to blame it on me, but it was really the dog.
Yeah,
for the
it's
cat.
really Nut Tree.
Dude, but so Tara, you bring up a crazy like thing with a ton of variables, and it's milk, and milk so wildly.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the nature of its creation of lactic acid, like it's almost a very beneficial thing for us to like inoculate our guts with. You know what I mean? It's milk. Mm-hmm. The problem is the conventional milk that's available has been deprived of bacteria through what's the word called? Becca's asleep. Pasteurizing. Essentially heating it up to a point to where, it kills most of the bacteria. And really, it's the bacteria that allows it to create the lactic acid. And
do you drink raw milk?
I don't drink raw milk. I have had raw milk, but
I can't get past the smell. So I can't even. So like I told you, I've never been a big milk drinker. Like if in cereal, maybe, but I haven't been able to even do that for years. It doesn't bother me in things like taste wise, but like to drink it outright, no. Raw milk tastes like I am just sitting at the farm. smoking.
Other nowadays, like milk from our childhood would have been completely different than getting milk today because of the change in, you know, requirements of hormones and, you know, worms, vaccinations, and all these things that go into the cows, that it, you know, inevitably will go into the milk of the cow. Everything comes back out of the milk. You know what I mean? Mother's milk contains all of the minerals and everything that they're consuming. And the grain, the milk isn't necessarily your nice grade A beef grass fed, you know, cow. They're getting garbage grains, they're getting glyphosate grains, they're getting chemicals, and all that stuff's coming out. And this isn't the milk from the 90s, you know what I mean? This isn't the milk from the early 2000s. It's totally different. It's a totally new ball game. It's chemical milk. And
Lots of things are so chemically now, so it's like
it's like Abolish just said. It's to some extent sugar water that's milk flavored. Basically, what he's saying is, yeah, if they can isolate a milk protein and add that to a certain percentage, they'll call it milk.
they will. They absolutely will. And I'm sure that there is one of those gallons at one of those supermarkets has that not from a cow milk. You know what I mean? Or if it's coming real fucking soon, that's for dang sure.
Oh, it's all over.
And well, so we do source grass-fed milk. We do source antibiotic-free grass-fed, Organic would be
she has arisen for the organic milk talk. Welcome back, Becca.
You hear what kind of milk? And so we do drink organic, like, so that we can at least hope that it's like glyphosate free, hope that it's antibiotic free and all of that stuff. And then the additional one is being lactose intolerant. I have noticed a large difference in using A2 milk. And A2 milk is a type of cow with out the protein that causes lactose intolerance. Is that what it is?
No, A2 protein.
It's without the A2. It has the A2 protein. Has the A2 protein, which is just, I guess,
different protein.
A different protein, and it doesn't trigger your lactose
intolerance. Cause it. Yeah.
But then you have the other variable that is lactose intolerance an actual intolerance to lactic acid in the milk, which generally our milk's not really getting lactic acid, right? Because it's all void of shit. Maybe it has maybe it has some sort of maybe it has lactose. So maybe there's something there. Or is it not lactose intolerance at all? Is it a reaction to the glyphosate, the hormones, and all of the other things?
Essentially, the feed. You are what you eat, right? So whatever the cow eats is what it is, and what it is what it's producing. What it's producing is based off those ingredients, and if those ingredients are full of glyphosates or something else, well, is that what's triggering your issues?
You know, herbicides.
Yeah, all of it, man.
It's all that stuff is on that grass that the cows are eating, that is going into the milk and then being made into all kinds of products, crackers, name it, everything,
bro, fucking everything.
And the crackers are using the same grass.
It's the wheat. It's almost impossible to find unenriched pasta in this country, dude.
Which means without bleach, essentially, and without additional sugars and processings, and when they do that, it also adds carbon footprint to it. You know what I mean? Small bits here and there, all the way down the chain. But then you eat it, and you might not be lactose intolerant, but over time, like you said, you said that word half-life. It might not hurt you today. It might not hurt you tomorrow, but enough of it over the course of 6 years begins to fucking fade on you heavy. You know,
or the other perspective on it is the half-life is, say it's 6 months, right? So you spray this product 6 months before it's harvested, and that's considered safe enough, right? Well, at that harvest date, it still has half of the amount of, usually this is considered like a radioactive thing, right? So it's half-life for radiation. So say it's got the half amount of the radiation in there now. In another 6 months, it has half that. So it still has a quarter.
Right.
It's not like it doesn't. And then another, and we can do this math because we're weed growers. Another 6 months from there, it's an eighth, right? Another
But
6
still
months from there, it's a 16th. And
Eat more.
forever, it will always be there because it only cuts in half. It never gets to zero.
Yep.
And that's one of those just scary, terrifying things if you really think about it. And what, not what you're putting in the earth, but what you're putting in your body, and the fact that your body has probably a lot less capability of getting rid of it or dissolving it or diluting it than the earth does. It's a scary thing, man. Scary prospect because we really don't know.
And I found with my own self where I experience chronic inflammation and pain when I go off the track into certain areas of what I put into my body, what I feed myself. You know what I mean? If I eat too much sugar, the headaches come back. If I'm eating too much gluten, my neck starts to hurt. Like it's weird, random, areas of my body that are triggers that get these specific triggers. And then there, just other stuff. Or here's the cool one is that when I get off of caffeine for a little bit and I get on to like a living food diet, it doesn't have to be a vegetarian diet, just be a living food diet. You can still eat some protein.
Fresh foods.
Fresh foods. They're practically alive. It's a dopamine fix. It really is. You almost have like a runner's high. John Lennon, there's like a quote by John Lennon that talks about access to God. And it's like through meditation, drugs, and in a good diet is basically how you access God. And it's very, in my experience at least, is kind of like I can almost agree to that. It's like definitely through the other two, you know what I mean? And then with that clean diet, you are much more easily able to access meditation. And
that's what I was gonna say. It seems to help with those other two things. It's almost like you get yourself to baseline right through a clean diet, and then from there you're able to alter that baseline either with meditation, which is strictly, I would say like a sober diet of being able to access that, or through the use of drugs, which is just a more helpful way of getting there. You know what I mean? How often I'm curious to know specifically about Red, but I want to hear from you, Tara, and Nuttree too. How often do you guys find yourselves taking those long rides, like those, Terry, I know you guys doing a lot longer rides than we probably are, more often at least, but
I do like joy rides, if that's what you're getting at. I don't know.
That's partly there. So how often do you find yourselves on those rides, whether they're joy rides, going to events, just going to work, whatever it might be, where you're in complete silence? You're not listening to a podcast. You're not listening to music. You're not listening to morning radio. You have nothing on but the thoughts that are streaming through your head. I find that that's more often than not where I am in the car. I'm like, I'm just thinking, and I'm going, I'm going somewhere with purpose or for purpose. But on the ride there, I'm not filling my brain with just like other people's thoughts, I guess. I'm like, it's almost like a therapeutic way of working on my own, because I don't have a choice, I guess.
The beginning of my drive always is that way.
Okay. And then you realize it and you're like, shit, I'm going to turn on the
podcast. As soon as I realize it, I'm like, what the fuck? Come on.
I do that sometimes too.
Time.
You're too far in your head.
Yeah, I'm pulling down my street. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm a psychopath.
So it definitely is contagious. It's not just you.
Okay, good. I didn't know if it was just me that was an insane person, but I'm
There's
good.
some.
that-
No, you're not. I definitely, my car trips are. If there was a little microphone or somebody taping me, they'd be like getting some enjoyment out of this shit because it's all out therapy, match. There's sometimes you just gotta let loose, and sometimes you're riding down the highway and there's nobody around you. You look around, and you're like, roll the windows down and let it loose.
Yeah, there you go. What about you, Red? Are you kind of a always music kind of guy, or are you just solo thoughts? Nothing but thoughts.
In the morning, when I wake up, I like to listen to some music.
Okay,
Sometimes out in the garden. Sometimes I like to
kind of
listen.
gets your day going.
Sometimes depending on the time of day. If Becca's riding with me and we're riding, most of the time we're listening to some music or maybe a YouTube something or other, but mostly music. There are occasions where she's subject to the dead silence that I listen to when I'm alone in the car, but that's usually just because she hasn't turned the radio on after I've been alone in the car. The shop is an hour away, and I have made many trips back and forth without the use of the radio. And I do spend a lot of time in the garden without headphones. I do a lot of my indoor gardening without headphones. I also used to use headphones a lot. I used to listen to a lot of audiobooks.
I still do.
And I have AirPods that I no longer use just because I'm weirded out about the magnetism being so close to my brain now. So I just don't use them. And I mean, I went back to my corded headphones for a while, which still have magnetism, but those things just faded out, broke on me. So I got to figure out how to get a nice big old. Maybe I'll use my Sony.
What about speakers, like so that the plants can enjoy the sounds too?
I do like listening to music in the grow rooms. I'll kick on speakers every now and then. Like most of the time, things are just not charged up, dead. Signal sucks. We're on satellite.
The signal always sucks in a grow room. There's too much shit
My
there.
phone is usually on 8%.
What's going on?
I'm not lying, dude. If Daddy Red's in chat, he's gonna tell you my phone always dies when I'm on the phone with him or my mom. Always. Usually we talk for like an hour, so it's gonna die anyways. But my phone's always perpetually on 8% battery. So just I never have a battery listen to anything anyways. It's always got to stay plugged in, and then I just can't be far enough from it to listen to anything, I guess, unless I had wireless earphones, and then I could probably do that, which I do, which I have.
And that's magnets.
Yeah, it's magnets. So anyways, but no, dude, like many hours alone in the car, just cycling thoughts. And then a lot of it is I drive east home, and so that one I really like to get a good in tune with, making sure that I'm in tune with the silence there. Is there Z's? Hey, Tara missed it.
Yeah, Tara missed it, but she's
Sure, that's why.
she's typing it.
I think you're talking to me about this damn milk shit. Oh, it's killing me.
Tara, you missed Mrs. Fergroli pop on the screen.
I saw a bit of her. Thank you.
Giving like that little dude going toasty.
That's the only way you can catch her, unless you happen to be at an event she's at.
Yes, we
You
were
just get the
fortunate
quick
to get to
glance
see
of her on the
today.
show every once in a while.
So happy.
Dude, we were there and I was like frantically trying to set up because like we had this new tent and like shit's just doing the tent thing, and I'm just always feeling like there's too much stuff that I hadn't finished.
The red though, mwah, chef's kiss.
You know what I mean? So she's like hanging out trying to have a conversation. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm like unable to have a conversation right now. Like I'm trying so hard to like try to work, not really work, but just like not get overwhelmed with myself in 20 minutes when the floodgates open.
I know. I couldn't believe when we got there and Becca's like, we don't have much left. I was like, oh my goodness.
Well, I mean that's mainly because of our
It's awesome.
props came down, and they came down with us not having enough time to even prep for the event. So we got
Oh, I mean, it's phenomenal that people would just keep coming back. You know, everybody is just
the
like,
community support.
oh, I love it.
Shout out to the community.
I do.
for
I love it.
being those for like causing the stress. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's a good stress. I don't care.
I mean, I don't want to see you stressed ever, but I'd love to
I'm not
see.
stressed. I'm never stressed, but I feel like I have that like RBF going like the entire time. Like I just feel like constant fucking like, you know, universal like downer mode, but I'm not. I'm just usually just cranking through what's next and my motions, you know what I mean? So like I don't care if I'm being distracted. I'm always in a good mood, but it's just like I usually have the RBF going on, dude. It's just like,
Red, have I ever explained waffle brain versus noodle brain to you?
I think we've got started getting into that and probably tangented around, but what
This
you
is
got?
going to be interesting here. Okay. Ready for this?
Waffle brain sounds structured because it's
Yes, it does. Noodle sounds like all over the place.
woo!
Yep, you guys are right. And the way Tara talked about listening to silence makes me think she might be more of a waffle brain. That being said, Troy's agreeing.
He's probably like, she needs to shut up more.
Well, that's a different thing, but that's more of a noodler. But so I had someone explain, a good friend of mine explained this to me recently, a few months ago, and it was someone that he trusted explained it to him in a I guess words of advice, and it went a little something like this. And now, don't hold me to this. This is again, friend of a friend's advice kind of thing. Men are like waffles. Waffles have these little pockets, right? Just a big sheet full of pockets, and every little pocket you want to fill up with syrup. But you're going to fill up each one of those pockets with syrup one at a time, right? So we're filling up this little pocket over here in this corner, and we're like, all right, we're done. Now let's go.
Maybe you want blueberries inside of each one.
Well, hold on. We'll get there. We're going to just syrup one thing at a time. Jesus Christ, noodle brain. You got so, and so then we go to the next pocket. We fill. So, anyways, we're filling up pockets of the waffle one at a time with syrup, right? Women's brains are more like a bowl of spaghetti. You got all these noodles, and they're all intertwined, and they all make sense when they're together, but they're all going in a lot of different directions. And when you're a waffle brain, you don't understand it. When you're a noodle brain, you don't understand the waffle brain, right? And it was just a very simplistic food definition or explanation analogy of kind of the difference in the way brains are. And it doesn't necessarily have to be men or women, but that was the way it was explained to me. And I think Troy just very much gave us a noodle brain example there. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like it's just two different ways the brains work. And it's almost like having a sativa versus indica, right? Like having that broadleaf.
It's so funny you said that. He literally is getting ready to roll up a cherry paloma. And I was like, that's pretty uppity right now. You probably don't want to do that. And then he's like, fine. And I was like, okay, fine. Just a little pinner then, because I can.
And you know what though? It's okay, because when you've got both brains that work together, you know what I mean? That's how you're going to get the best results, right? Like if you just stuff a bunch of waffles in a corner, where's the rest of the breakfast, right? Like
Gotta have the noodles too.
But if you got a bunch of noodles all by itself, well, where's the marinara? Like it's just
Right.
you need.
Dude, the problem with me is I'm like a waffle with a pile of spaghetti on it, and I'm trying to put blueberries into the holes. That's what I got going on.
Oh shoot!
Oh, Uncle Rick.
There's no way you're still in top chat. What is happening?
He just got.
We're 95 minutes in. Get the live chat, kids.
You guys,
He just woke up from his nap.
That's
Probably. He just
all.
woke up from his nap.
Hi, Uncle Rick. Thanks for being here.
Cheers, Uncle Rick. Thanks for letting Becca and I join your show last week. If you did,
That was a good show.
Yeah, for sure. I like the layout and everything, how it rolls. Cool.
It was good.
it was fun.
Definitely enjoyed it watching.
That's a Wednesday night show, everybody, at 9 p.m. Shout out, Let's Be Buds. Thank you, Uncle Rick. And we were there supporting the Rosemary's Oasis Farmstead.
You going to any
Rosemary's
Yeah.
Oasis, right here.
Oh, look at that. A nasturtium.
There you go.
That does look super good. It looks like a
yeah, that doesn't sound
It is
German
so
at all.
cute. I absolutely love this. I don't even want to put it outside. I love it so much. I was like, can I keep this inside? She's like, no, it's one and done. I was like, okay. But she said it'll get you seeds. So not one and done, but I'll get seeds.
Propagate. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. But we have some tomatoes and some peppers from Rosemary's Oasis going really good. Got tomato cages around them already. Doing real good.
You're probably further ahead than we are on them. We haven't up potted like anything. We did get our.
I don't have as much as you, so
She even used the good pots on them.
We've been like
cannabis
actually
pots.
we've been doing plant sales and stuff. We've been like actually like
I love the one that you did outside
Yeah.
your house the other day. It made me think of all the kids with their lemonade sales stands, and I just
dude, we do
absolutely that like I honestly teared up because
Yeah,
it
8-year-old lemonade
was
stand.
like in my heart.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks, Tara.
Yeah,
We
more of that.
and it was like it wasn't necessarily for our immediate street because our street's rather slow as far as traffic goes, but our Becca put a couple posts out on like some social media networks,
Yeah.
like Facebook and stuff like that, Marketplace and things, and just locally selling plants. A couple people wanted to meet up, so I said, just let's just pick a day. Let's just open up on Saturday. A couple people wanted to pick up on the weekends. We were like, let's just do it. You know what I mean? Let's just put the table out for like 5 hours in the afternoon.
If I wouldn't have been working, I'd have been there.
And so we just did it like we do our meetups with. I'm like, we've been doing this for years. Like this is just a different plant. You know what I mean? Like let's just do the different plant. And so we just and decided not be so paranoid about people coming up to our house and our yard. Like I'm usually super paranoid about people coming over to my house. I had the garage open and I just don't care anymore really because
That's
it's
awesome though.
you guys will hopefully get there soon down in Ohio and just
It'll come quick.
it'll be normal again. But yeah, all of our neighbors living here for 10 years, our neighbors are really cool. And our neighbor came over, bought some plants, we hooked them up with some plants and it's cool because getting to I don't really talk to our neighbors at all, and I see my neighbors. I go outside and they're always outside. I say hi and ask them how their day is and stuff, but it's never like I don't know anything about them.
Can we talk about that real quick? Because this is the second or I actually think this is the third time this conversation has come up today about how we're not, as human beings, we don't go up and just are inquisitive about other people's lives anymore. You know what I mean? It's just it's a friendly greeting. It's a hold the door open. It's a how you doing? Have a great day. But it's not like a hey, where are you from? What are you up to? What not to be like weird about it, like get like aggressive or anything, but just like be a friendly person and be actually curious about what they're coming from. And it like there's so much to learn and
There
so
really
much to experience, and it just doesn't seem like that happens enough anymore.
Maybe we need to start watching the Home Improvement show some more, where the guy talking over the fence, and he's
Little
talking to
Wilson.
neighbors, yeah.
He's just always doing this thing.
There's no more shows like that.
There was a
anymore.
guy I used to work with years ago. He refused to get a cell phone because he's like, as soon as I get a cell phone, Nobody's going to call me anymore. Nobody's going to want to come over to my house. Nobody's going to go knock on my door. Nobody's going to sit on my porch with me and want to share a pop or a coffee.
And you know what? Over the course of 20 years, he's not wrong.
No, he's
He's
not
not
wrong.
fucking wrong.
He's
I
not
was-
wrong.
I was going to talk about this experience earlier because it pertained, but I'll talk about it now because it pertains. We were out driving around the Irish Hills area, you know, going around the lakes, and my mom's got some family that lives out there, and she's got a couple different sets of family, and she can't get a hold of them, but she's got the address, and so we're just gonna drive by. And Becca's kind of like, we're gonna drive by, and I call them. I'm like, you know, we used to do it back in the day, just kind of drive around. That's what you do around lakes, you know what I mean? You don't really. Back in the day, we didn't have cell phones or nothing.
Around the lake, you can do that. That's very acceptable.
That's super like lakey thing, right?
Yep.
And then like so
Especially golf carts too.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
yeah.
you gotta go.
we go pull up.
You can roll up on anybody.
we go pull up to them. We go to pull up to their house, and they're both out like gardening, doing yard work, right? So she's out in their golf cart sitting right there. You know what I mean? So sure enough, we just pull up, and they're outside just hanging out and chilling. And what's funny is like we could see our house. You know what I mean? Up over the hill, when we were driving away. Like they're literally. You kind of had to like go down a road and go back and around. Like they're a couple miles away from us, but they're literally, as far as like crows, you know, crows. Yeah, it's like fucking, I don't know, like a quarter mile or something like that. They're like right across the street. Super bizarre. It's like my family's like right there. I think we were talking about maybe synchronicities or something. But yeah, so like we just, you know, and going just talking to strangers, right? And so we did. We just like we just popped over. My mom doesn't really know these cousins, but we just kind of like found out that we have distant cousins that literally live right by us. And sure enough, they literally are right by us. And like it's total synchronicity. I mean, it's my mom's.
It's not the people I know, right?
No. This is out in our Irish Hills spot, but this.
Yeah.
My mom's grandma's cousin, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I think it's like my third. I think that would make it my mom's second cousin. Yeah, to not be confusing. My third cousin. Oh, my mom grew up with. Yeah, that's right. They knew each other growing up. Yeah. I'm terrible with fucking.
Dude, yeah. Once you get past like a second tier of like a generational whatever it's called, the relationship, you know what I mean? It's like it starts getting weird with the way they name things. I want to share something quickly from today. Hey guys, my hiccups are gone. I just realized.
Oh, good.
It's been a while actually.
Finally.
Quick shot.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to share this.
Just,
we were literally talking about this on our walk with the dogs
I bet
tonight.
he shows it on the show tonight.
And I really hope he does.
Yeah.
So this is just purely raw footage, and I don't, you know.
Yeah.
Just
Enjoy,
have at it.
everyone.
Enjoy. Yeah.
It's super great.
There's a point where I noticed it and I tried waving at it. I don't know if it was even pointed at me.
I wonder what the red tent is.
Yeah,
right.
What the red tent is.
Yeah, I wonder whose tent the red tent is.
Love it.
There you go.
It was awesome.
Just one perspective of the many today. I hope I can bring a handful more, but yeah, I don't know. Follow it on Instagram. Make sure you check out Third Eye Craft Fair. It's I'm really just trying to give him some more perspective, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good location. I enjoy it.
He said he's got another one in the works. I was talking to him today about it, and he's got something brewing up.
Awesome. That's one thing I got to give him credit. He's really, been, traveling around, honestly, getting around different places throughout the state. And
constantly.
I think that's really great, because honestly, they have a great following every place he's been. I feel, it's been really very responsive. Everybody's really showed up.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter.
It is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like some people are, they're like, if you're coming from a little bit further away, we'll just say, and you got to go to where we were today versus where we normally are, it's actually more convenient. You know what I mean? But then you look at something like the Gems and Genetics, it may be a little bit further, right? So like some people do base it off of that and their availability and how far they have to travel and all that. But one of the cool things about we'll call it the traveling circus, is the fact that you're going to get a consistent access to quality at a variety of accessibility. You know what I mean? And that might mean it's 10 minutes from you, might mean it's 2 hours from you, and it's going to depend on quite a few things, but it does give patients access. And I think that's one of the most important parts of this is that it's giving patients
too.
access.
It's been a very safe,
100%.
I've never, ever, everyone that I've been to never felt unsafe. It's always
Someone had a surveillance drone today. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Heard it pulled up.
Yep.
Heard the buzzing.
Yeah. The fuzz showed, but it was only because of the parking. And I mean,
that's easy to fix. Yeah.
In a good county, and I mean, super fortunate for that stuff. And it's the access, it's the safe access. And dude, I've seen, like, we were talking about Reddit earlier, and like Reddit's a great place for good stuff, but it's also a great place for just some fucking, like, just it's its own circus in its own self.
It's like its own entity in itself. I mean,
the way that people just boo-boo on like other people's like consumption habits, or the fact that there's a traditional market, or the fact that like it's just whatever it is. I guess this is the same deal. Like we kind of boo-boo on the metric market every now and then, but like that stuff is boo-boo. You know what I mean? So
hey, that's what I'm saying. That's not only Michigan's.
But no, like the fact is that like everybody wants to support whoever they want to support in their own way. There's events on the west side of the state, you can go to those events. There's events on the east side of the state, you can go to those events. There are people, believe it or not, that go to both events in the same day when the events are in the same day. Would you believe it that people would support both events? Oh my gosh, it's as if you would have ever heard of it.
I 100% have done it myself.
Dude, shit that I see on the internet, it's a clown show. Like, who cares what's the events you support? It's all about the access. It doesn't matter what the quality is there, because we just talked about quality is totally subjective anyway. There are people who openly talk. Dude, do you even talk to the vendors before criticizing what you see? Because a lot of people tell you that it's cured pressed. You know what I mean? It's trim, it's flour, pressed flour. That rosin's dark because it's pressed flour. You'll talk to the farmer, you get a great interaction. They're going to tell you about their stuff. You might not think it's good, you might think it looks better in the stores. That's fine too, but to like blast things on here is kind of a clown show.
Here's my take on this: is I love to be able to talk to somebody about what they've done, ask them questions about their product. I can't go to the dispo. Yes, I can go and ask a person there, excuse me, at the dispo questions. But that he, she, it, them is only telling you
way more personal.
What they've been told on a sheet of paper. The people that I'm interacting with at like the affairs, the Third Eye Craft Affair that we go to, the different kind of events that are in Michigan, I'm able to have a one-on-one conversation with that person. Here's the thing. Fergoli, years and years ago, I met him at an event and was able to speak with him. So that way I knew what he was doing, and I appreciated everything he did because he told me what he was doing. He was 100% upfront with me. I knew what I was getting product-wise. So I think I appreciated that more. Plus the lime skunk blew my ass out the water on smells. I mean, come on. But that's not what we're talking about. It's the interaction with people to let them know, to let them know about their product.
Same goes with breeders. And that's why I've been preaching since the Grow Tube days. If you're going to buy seeds, don't do it like I did when I first started and I bought from some overseas seed bank. And like, I get it. Like there was a time for that, but nowadays you can go up and shake the person's hand that
Yep.
created those seeds.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you can get such detailed information that you wouldn't otherwise from another breeder. You know what I mean? That you know that they're fresh, that it's exactly what you were asking for or seeking out, and you're probably going to get, like I said, more detailed information. And so it's like that accessibility is there. Why not go access it? Now I gotta shout out someone else that was at the Third Eye Crafts Fair today. It was the food vendor, guys. Oh my Lanta. I've
Yeah.
never spent so much food,
too.
spent so much money at a food vendor before.
By the
Holy
time we got there, I think it was all gone.
that's right. I
So
didn't mean to
we
do
were
that.
looking at the menu driving up, and I'm like, oh boy, I was like, this is awesome. I don't know what the menu is today, but what the previous menus, I was like, this sounds phenomenal.
But on top of that, guys, I just gotta say they did 2 events today.
Yes,
Two
they
2
did.
events. And so talking about, like, you know, picking up and meeting the vendors that are creating your hash, your seeds, or whatever it might be. These people are going to multiple events, but
Oh shit! They were at Cherry Creek in Brooklyn today.
yes,
Yep.
yeah, they're based out of Brooklyn, bro.
Wait, they're based out of Brooklyn?
Yep.
Yes,
Saw that.
yes. Look at that menu.
This is
I
what
mean,
got me
this
right
is-
there. That menu
Yeah.
right there. It was just
Oh.
like,
Mwah. Hawaii inspired.
Shit, I went
Cuisine.
over and talked to them. We're trying to localize with the community in Brooklyn. As
Hey,
well.
no, I'm trying to move them to me. Okay, listen, hey, don't step on my hula
I want some
chicken.
of that Hawaiian mac and cheese, my man.
No, my lunachos.
I'm sure we'll see him again. I'm sure
I
we'll see
hope
him
so.
again.
I
We
certainly
got
hope
to.
so.
Food like
It was
that.
so
Gotta
good, guys. They have a kava bar. They had mocktails. They had smoothies. They had, I mean, it was unreal, and they deserve to sell out more, or just as much as anybody, I should say. And I mean, they, as far as I know, they pretty much did. And it was might be my new favorite food truck, just because like that cuisine is just so up
Yes,
my
I am
alley.
very into that cuisine too myself. So
Oh, if you tell me you hate pineapple on pizza, we just can't talk about
I
this.
love
Dude,
I love it.
I'd never get a pizza
Minus
with
the cheese.
pineapple on it.
I mean, I don't either, but listen, pineapple's delicious on a lot of things, and I'm not gonna. If someone shows up to a party with a pineapple
pineapple,
pizza,
dude.
listen, I'm gonna have a
feel
slice.
like I'll get just like pineapple and black olive. That's a good one.
That's
Oh, wow.
listen. I'm not Italian enough for the black olives. I think I'm more Hawaiian.
Yeah, no, I'll throw. I do just do like a mushroom and black olive. I like that one too. Mushroom and black olive.
Oh,
That's
what is
enough
so
far off
crazy?
from
I'm
what my
Greek
dad
and I
ordered
hate
today.
freaking olives.
I think-
Ugh,
think
they're
we
so
talked-
salty.
I think we talked
Yeah.
about olives before. and
I'm
it's
not
We could talk about it again. Listen, Troy,
Yeah.
olives suck. Fuck green
I am
olives in
not into
particular.
olives because they're so
They're
salty.
too salty. Yeah, who came up with this substance?
Well, you know what? You can bite onto a Kalamata olive because I love olives.
What are you stuffing your olives with nuts and things? What's
I'm
going
not
on?
into
Here?
mushrooms on my pizza.
You
either.
put cheese in your salty thing. What?
making olive burgers over here.
Oh my god,
Olive
Yeah.
love
burgers.
the Michigan olive
Actually,
burger.
When
What
I
about olive loaf?
Ooh.
stop this, we've had this conversation. We're
my
just repeating ourselves. We really have. But I actually, Nuttree, when I went and got those burgers today that I talked about that were, the local ground beef bison. I don't even remember what they were, but they were cheddar jalapeno burgers. Right next to it was olive burgers, and I was like,
Honestly, I've never heard of that burger before I met people in Michigan. So I'm
it's
like,
so nasty.
fucking disgusting.
The idea is repulsive.
Nah. Yeah, I'm out on the olives.
Give me some Hawaiian nachos.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
dude, those are so good. Oh my gosh.
Now, was it? They were vegan, right? So it wasn't real pork. It
Yes.
was like papaya or something like
Yeah.
that, or
Yep.
jackfruit.
Jackfruit or something like that. Yeah.
Barbecue jackfruit pork. That's what it was. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
were
when
so
Becca
tasty.
told me that it was vegan cheese on it, I was like, well,
Listen, okay.
I'm really weird about cheese right now, so I don't think vegan cheese is gonna cut it either.
But maybe it would though. That maybe that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's the caveat that you're looking for.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's that.
I don't either.
Well,
But
maybe
there's only one way to find out.
I've never known until you try it.
It's so
There you
perplexing.
go.
you need that synthetic
So fucked up.
vegetable flavor.
I mean,
You're
it's
getting-
so messed up. Like, literally, like my whole night, like, would end with like cheese and crackers and mustard kind of thing. Colby Jack cheese on sliced and stuff. And now I can't even like touch it. So it's like my life is like weird.
Superior Buds, they he's asking if there's no spam on the menu. They actually
not
did.
see
They
spam.
had
Oh, you did? I didn't.
they had specials, and 2 out of the 3 specials, it was a smaller menu off the side. I think it was probably very limited. They had spam fries and spam something else. Both deep fried, of course.
I won't lie. About every 5 years, I will buy a can of spam and slice it up. I will not.
Is that
lie.
like out of like pure necessity in terms of survival, like we were talking about earlier?
I don't think so. I think it's just a pure kind of like nostalgia kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Like
okay.
take you back day, like let's go way back.
That's more of a comfort food then.
Probably it's probably a trauma thing.
Oh, that's so good.
It
I
was
mean, it's not, but it's so good. It's so probably accurate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not funny. It's not funny at all, guys. Stop
that's okay.
laughing.
definitely have had spam. The no, never mind. I don't know what I was gonna say. I had something to say off when you were talking about spam, but
Is there I've seen like spam that's like, it almost looks like filleted like a fish, you know what I mean? It's real thin. You got like the spam sausages, and is there
Yeah.
like
Turkey spam now.
so they're like, it's like a cuisine. It's almost its own cuisine.
is.
What would you classify that, if you could, in a like maybe 2 words of a cuisine? Like what
Ooh.
spam cuisine? I mean, that's just kind of too like obvious.
Kippered
I guess.
snacks.
Say it again.
Kippered snacks. I don't know.
I don't know.
What does kippered mean?
Is that
Kippered is
like
a fish, I
is that
believe.
fish?
I
Is
think,
that-
I
okay.
think kippered is a
maybe I'm in the
fish.
wrong. I always
And
thought of
like-
like
Not like sardines.
Threw it in the
but like
camping
a-
can.
Anchovies or something?
yeah, I
something
guess.
along that, a canned fish kind of situation. I
Okay,
think.
okay.
I was gonna ask.
You
You
might
guys,
be wrong. It might be a flavoring to it or a way that it's processed. I don't know. Kippered. I got kippered fish. I don't.
I always thought of it as like kippered snacks is all camping type, but I could be wrong
Yeah,
too.
I mean that's how I classify
not
it, but
eating
not
it, so-
everyone, like.
Throw it in there
Let's
with
just throw that out there. I'm not gonna eat it. I'm not gonna smell it. I'm not gonna see it. So no.
now, will you guys eat the canned fish? Because I
How
actually
hungry am I?
No.
do like sardines on pizza. I am a fan of
No.
sardines on
No way.
like
No way,
this
no
isn't
how.
like I'll eat it all day every day, but I'll have a slice or two.
That's Papa
Wait.
for girly red. That's
I don't even think I
100%.
can bring myself to do it.
And the other one is I will eat wait, what did I say? Sardines on a pizza or
I
anchovies?
think we were talking anchovies.
Anchovies on a pizza, sardines in a can with some
Yeah.
crackers. I
Yeah, I saw like some salty crackers.
Nah,
especially around the fire.
nah.
Especially around the fire.
It sounds like a podcast we
There's
need
other
to
things
have.
to eat besides that.
and-
I
and
can't believe we didn't come up with hot dabs first, but we need to come up with
Pull out
something better.
you just don't pull out that spine, you don't taste it. So just don't pull it out because that
Ooh, you're killing me.
You just gotta swallow it whole.
Oh, sounds like an oyster. Ooh, just swallow it
Well,
all.
you could start there if you
Mussels.
want to.
Mussels.
Yeah.
No, let's start with the oysters. Something real goobery, you know.
I don't like canned mussels, but
All right,
I'll-
this is a weird way to end the show, talking about like the worst possible foods we get. What happened, guys? I think we started the show with spam and got like to a different level throughout, and then came back down to like worse levels of spam. What happened?
I'm out of papers.
Out of paper.
Oh, out of papers.
A lot of
I thought
papers.
the
Well, this show's got to end.
frosting.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
More than one pack of papers.
Please come.